from the CDC mischaracterizes actual data and suggesting COVID vaccine immunity is better than natural immunity. One America's Kim McKenzie has more.
A recent study provided by the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention indicates the COVID-19 vaccine boosts immunity, more so than having natural immunity. Joining me now is board-certified neurologist Dr. Russell Surasky. Thank you for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me on.
So, Dr. Surasky, the CDC pinpoints data from Kentucky suggesting COVID-19 vaccines offer better protection than natural immunity. What is your take on this study?
Well, unfortunately, the CDC and the NIH are on a mission to completely spin and mislead the results from a study that was done in Kentucky. They claim the results show that people who had natural antibodies that got the vaccine were better off than if they had just gotten natural antibodies. But the result was marginal within the statistical significant room for error, so that is not what the study showed. Look, the real comparison that matters with respect to all these tyrannical mandates being put on the American people is the comparison between those who are naturally infected versus those who are fully vaccinated. And in that comparison, several studies are very clear. Naturally infected versus those who are fully vaccinated are equivalently susceptible to subsequent infections. And the expectation by many immunologists actually is that people who are naturally infected are more robustly protected, particularly from variants.
So it seems you're suggesting these results from the data provided are a little misleading to the American public. What's the CDC's motive for doing this?
Well, the CDC is not having faith or confidence in the American people. They have made a strategic decision, which is an error, in my opinion, to not be honest with the American people. They should be and explain the truth to the American people that if you have antibodies, the gold standard for immunity, then you are immune. And people in America are intelligent and rational, and they want the best for themselves and their families. And I think this is just a fundamental disrespect to the American public.
We are seeing cases across the country of colleges, I'm sure you've seen in other education systems, forcing the COVID vaccine on students. I mean, could this be considered an ill-advised policy prescription due to the lack of supporting evidence the CDC retains for vaccine immunity?
Absolutely. You know, the immune system is complex, and so the vaccine companies are getting away with misleading information that they're putting out to the American public about the facts. They are deliberately confusing Americans about it to create fear and drive further vaccine use. For example, these pharma companies have no actual idea what level of antibodies equals protection from COVID. Furthermore, all antibodies from vaccines or natural immunity go down over time. This is a normal adaptive process for your body. And then what are called T cells and memory B cells take over, and they can quickly create these antibodies again. The immune system does this intentionally because if you had high levels of antibodies to all the viruses all the time, your blood would be just too viscous. So, having them decline the antibodies and switch to T and B cells is the normal adaptive process. That does not mean you need another booster shot. It does not mean healthy college-age kids need vaccines. In fact, a new study out of the prestigious scientific journal Nature says you're likely protected from COVID for many years or decades after natural exposure, not just from antibodies or all these other immune cells, but this administration, along with Big Pharma, are blocking the science from the general public.
Would you say that natural immunity is a better tool against the virus than the CD recommended booster shot?
Yes, and the studies are very clear that with natural immunity, these antibodies are showing protection against not just the spike protein that the vaccine targets, but actually to all 28 plus proteins on the virus. So I believe, in my opinion, and the opinion of most immunologists now, is that natural immunity provides more robust protection against COVID-19 and the variants.
Board-certified neurologist Dr. Russell Surasky, thank you for joining me on One America News. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.